Let's add our context menu to our toolbar. So, did I have it somewhere? I hope. Because it's just mumbo jumbo. Yeah, we have it. Okay. That. And this is current graph. Thank you. And I will walk through and tell you what's going on. I will need 2 more. Control C, Control V, and this is in nodes /math /float and 4. And I think I missed one, but we will see. Add. Yeah, I missed one. Unload, and this is the clear I'm missing again. And this is clear. So clear is 3, 4, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Now, what I did is just when I'm right-clicking inside my work view. Did I save it? No. So when I'm right-clicking in work view, oh, look at there. Why it's showing up there? Huh, okay. And I shouldn't use the event. And why are you showing there? You know, it's totally wrong. Huh. Wow. Wow, seriously? Huh? Now it's working. Blasphemy. Okay, I'm not sure what was going on. Meh. Okay, so if I don't have a graph, I just see these two. If I hit the load graph, I should load a graph, and let's load a graph. Now I have unload graph, clear graph, delete graph, and nodes, and math, float, add. Okay, between the nodes and others, I want another separator. This is context menu. We had gone through it time and time again. So inside our callback, I'll do this, and this is current graph.name. I think I changed it to graph name. Yeah. Okay, so if we are creating a graph, we go into node pop-up window init. If we are loading a graph, we load the graph, unload the graph, unload the graph. Then the for case is the delete. And the third case, god damn it, thank you. Home, shift tab. Okay. The third case is our clear graph. So we say clear graph in node utils. Okay. Now for the fifth and sixth, we will say create a node, and if you look, it asks for the graph, so current graph. Node type is float, and the position, we will say new vector2 of 30 by 30. Same thing for the case 6, but instead of float, we make an add node. Okay, and please reformat everything. Thank you. So now node math float, and it creates a float node for me. Node math add, and it creates an add node, and everything else is working properly. Okay, now if I click here, I don't want to see this, especially here. Okay, because if you recall, we should see the break node here. So this is why we want that. Also, one more thing. If I click here, I'm outside of the node, but I don't get the graph. Okay, I don't see the load graph until here. And take a look. This is some offset from the node, and then I get this. Okay, so here's the comment. Add a test rect and add toolbar height to its Y value. The reason is that this rect has its own proportions, but the mouse value is keeping this guy intact. So we need to move the mouse down for testing the amount of toolbar. So for doing that, we need our work view. Where is that? And if you see on top, I said add toolbar height float. So public float toolbar height. Bam. Okay. Then I have this in node for its test. I need to use that toolbar to test rect. So test rect test rect equals to view rect. Then we say test rect dot y plus equals to toolbar height. Now we need to assign that, and here instead of node rect contains, equals to node.boundary, sorry. Okay, and instead of node.rect, we want the test rect. There we go. So right now the tool view is 0. So how we do that? Inside node editor window, you see that I have two things. I have another to do and say assign work views toolbar height. So here we say work view dot toolbar height equals to tools view dot rect view rect dot height. Bam. Now I need to close this window and recreate it, because that happens then, and load my test rect. And now I don't get the context, and here I get the break connection properly. But here, outside of it, anywhere, I get my context menu properly, but not in the nodes. And oh, look at that. Okay, let me go step by step. I still didn't fix it, but I moved this null checking for each loop on top, and we say if the current graphic was null, return, because we don't have anything to do. Then I say if the node inside node graphs boundary contains the mouse position minus that vector, then return, and remove that boolean. The behavior is the same yet. So that, but I get my context menu here. So let's just take a look at our inputs. And one more thing, where am I calling this process event? At the end. Let's move it on top of everything. Here, for example. because the order of processing events are now changing everything. There we go. There we go. There we go. So this was the reason. It was at the end of updating view. And if you look, we are updating the graph GUI. After it, let's move it down and tell you what was happening. It was like this, okay? So I was first updating the graph GUI. Updating the graph GUI would come into node graph, if I find it. Node graph. Calling it update graph GUI. It would go into the nodes, calling their update node GUI. So it would come to the base, update its GUI. Then it was handling its own events. Okay? After that, it would come all the way back here and process the events on the work view. So the work view's events was handled the last. So I was getting that context menu here, but then I would get this guy on top and it would override that one. So the easiest way to do this is just move this guy up before anything. So the work view's context will process the event first, then go all the way down to the node, and it will process the events after drawing everything. Okay, so don't need the boundary anymore. Actually, let's comment it because you may want this later again. But now, let it compile, and you see that I get breaking connection, break connection, no event, no context menu here, but the context menu normally out there. Okay. Now the last thing is why I'm losing this output position. The input positions keep themselves. The output positions, however, not. If I come back, I'm calculating them the same way inside the for loop. And if I close everyone but this, if I compare the node input and node output, you see that the position is vector2 and serializable. So what's the difference between the input that keeps its position and the output that can't keep its position? I don't know. Actually, I may have an idea, but that's this, you see? But here we don't have it. So when are counting the inputs inside the for loop, let me think. To make things easier to track, node graph, where's your hiding flag inside node base? It was, I think, initialize. Yeah, comment this hide flag first. Come back to Unity so that we can see that database. Delete, yes. Create our test database. Create, so that I can see the nodes themselves. Okay, so the float node, for example, its output has a position. If I start playing, moving it and stopping, so it's serialized. Interesting. If I come back into editor, do a minor change, save it, and come back, this guy is still there. So the only thing that I can think about is that the inputs have some problems. So the add node, connected output, connect. So the connected output now has a position, okay, and the input has a position. And if I do a minor tweak here, this is the value we are tracking, 236.95. Save, coming back, it's the same, but you lose that position. Huh. Interesting. So draw connections after the process event, please. And inside the draw connections, for each input, we get the start is connected output position, and that would be connected output position, this guy. Huh. Oh, you see, now I'm moving it. Oh, look at here. The connected output position is not updating itself. That is why. So now I know what's going on. Inside process event, after this, after everything, we say oh. Okay, so how should we update the outputs position again? We are getting node rect, output count, node rect. Okay, cool. Control C. Control V. Close it. Close this. Else. This guy. Where is that? Here. Paste. Let's try it again now. And it's not updating because well, let's clear the graph. We changed the base node. We need to do it again. So oh, look at here. I noticed something. We are not clearing the graph really. Huh. Okay. Test. And I know what's that one. So a float node, an add node, make the connection, select the out node. This is the position we are looking for. And now they are updating themselves. Okay. So coming back to code, doing minor tweak, coming back, and now it's broken the connection. So basically we are breaking the connection between this guy and this guy, although we are keeping it in there. So for the float node, for example, we are calling this guy It's updating, okay, but this guy is not updating. So we are losing the serialization. This has nothing to do with it. Drawing the connection. How are we calling this start and end node? Input that position, because we are going through inputs. Yeah. Input connected output position. This is what is breaking. So instead of doing it this way, we can do it this way. And we say connected output ID, comment this and get tons of errors now. Errors. Okay, so that's the first one. We will come back to that later. Okay, we say input. Let's before that find our handle connection stuff, because that will be the part that we will have the most problems there right now. Okay, so instead of this line, you'll say if connected output ID does not equals to -1, then input, okay, we say outputs of this index ID is occupied, okay, outputs of this ID, the child. Hopefully I'm not breaking tons of stuff. ID is equals to that. Then input ID equals to outputs dot index of this guy, and well, we don't have this guy anymore, or I should say this instead. Dot is occupied. Oh, come on. Okay. Outputs of input dot connected ID output that is occupied equals to true. That's that problem. Now, here we want the position input, no, outputs of ID that position. Here outputs of this index ID, okay, and I can copy paste it. Bam. No errors there. Errors are all gone. Coming back, delete the graph because it's junk. Create a test. Okay. Create a float node. Create an add node. Connect them. And oh, argument out of exception. Okay. This is bad because I can't see it. Control C, moving into another text editor because I don't see the error. very bad because I don't see it still yet. So the rest of it, please. Control C, Control V. Okay. This is the error I'm getting. If I can open it. Come on. Okay, I can't do that. Come on. Okay, this is the error. Argument out of exception, argument is out of range, parameter name index, blah, blah, blah. And where I'm calling it inside node baseline 199. Okay. Okay. Before going up to see that error, let's fix this gun. So output ID equals to -1. Okay, line 199. Where is that? 99. Oh, look at here. So we say if or input, come on, input dot connected output ID equals to -1, then return, and 186. Draw connection. Okay, let's see if it fixed stuff. So now I'm not getting the output. Okay. And it's still drawing it to mouse. So if I look at my add node, they are getting connected, but what the heck? Clear. Okay. Argument out of range. Now where? Three, 5, 7. 3, 5, 7. Okay. I broke everything. So when I'm handling the connection, I'm setting the output. So is occupied false, once connection, active output equals to this output, and parent graph connection node equals to this. Okay. Then we say if the parent graph is equal null, return. If the parent graph connection node equals null, then occupied equals false, return. After that, we check if the input still has some output, reset that output. That's cool. Then we say parent node equals to that, equals, okay, parent graph dot connection node output the child node equals to this. This should work. Okay. And instead of that, we can use this, I think. Is occupied equals true. Then once connection equals false, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Please first break the connection, and we are getting another index out of range anyway. Connect. It's connected, but we are not drawing the connection now. Break connection, and we get out of exception. Three, 1, 1. Okay, we say if outputs dot input, no, outputs of input dot connected ID output, or I should say if this guy does not equal to -1, do these guys. Okay, so connect it again, break connection. We don't get error, but we don't get to this output. So why is that? Input.connection output ID is equals to -1 yet. So we are setting it here. Debug.log that so -1. Is -1 because this guy, oh, you know what's going on? The thing that is going on is that in this node that we are using the input, the outputs has no index of that. So we should say this. Bam. That was the problem, I think. So if we connect it to this guy, we get 0 now. And wow, look at that. Woo! Okay, so what's going on here? God. Okay, we assigned the correct ID to that, but in draw now, we are getting the output of that index. That's wrong. We should get input dot parent node dot outputs of that, and that should now connect there. There we go. Okay, that was dumb. Okay, so 2 errors. One of them was that when I was assigning the output, I was assigning the output of the same node to itself. You should go for the connection node there. And then when I was drawing to the output of the same node. I should go for the parent node. And now let's make a minor tweak, save, come back, and now everything's working. Bravo. So the reason it was breaking the serialization was that I was getting an output node. That output node would refer to its child node, and the child node would revert back to the output node. So there was a loop there. Instead of that, I broke that loop. I get the ID of the output node, and in runtime, I'm constantly reading that output node from the parent of this input. Okay? Now, because of that, we had to go into the index readings all the time. And here, when we are breaking the connections, of course, we need to break the connections based on the indexed again. Okay? And we need to refer to the parent node for resetting its connected ID in this input. So that's that. Wow, that was too much, honestly. Okay, to-do list. Do we have anything else? Okay, just the properties view. Nice. So now the properties view. We need to show the properties of each node. Okay, so when I'm selecting this node, for example, and now the connection is saving properly. Nice. Now I have no way of tweaking these numbers, but here I have a properties view, and when I have a selected node, I want to show the properties of that guy. So where is my properties view? Nodes, view, properties view. That's the final piece of the puzzle. So here we say if the current graph does not equal null, and well, let's first show this guy for you. So here we say current graph dot selected node dot draw properties. Bam. Okay, let's come back. Get ready. Clear. And as you see, I'm getting the properties. So 25. The sum is 50. Wow. Why? Well, let's get lost. Now it's okay. Okay. So 25 with 0 is 25. If I convert it to 50, I get 75. So I'm showing these data inside the property view. But minor tweak. Come back. Let it compile. Well, it didn't show up, but I had a problem before that it would yell at me and say, hey, and look at here, now we are bad. Both of them serialized the same value. 50? 50. This is not 50, this is 25. Well, let's delete these guys. Wow, another null point. Nice. And I don't have any way of seeing it. Okay. Because the selected node. Okay, and well, that's the part. We want to say current graph that show properties. If you want to show the properties, and it should get rid of this null point exception. Wow, my mouse, please, mouse. Okay. And current graph that selected node does not equal to null. Will you? Okay. So $50. Let's delete all the nodes. Create a float node. And float node value equals 25. Another float node is 0, make it 10. And you will see why we have a problem there. another float node, make it 50, another add node. Oh no, you stay there, you select, and another add node. Okay, so connect, connect, and it becomes 35. Connect and connect you to here, so it becomes 85, and connect with another float node with the value of, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, whatever, and connect. So it becomes 2, 8. Is that okay? It looks like it's okay. Let's see if that is okay, really. So we do minor tweak, save it, come back, 25, 10, 50, and it is keeping it. So yeah, we effectively developed our node editor now. Okay, so if I, for example, play, I select this guy and make it, I don't know, 452, and I stop, it's serialized to 452, and the result is also tweaked, and everything is really serialized. Now, a minor tweak that we can do. We have our node value, where is that? Here, inside the node itself. Doing this causes each node to have only one output. So I will move it to the node output itself, okay? And I will say value. Of course, now we'll have problem in our add node because, hey, node value is 0. Okay. So how we can handle this? Well, let's see. If I remove this guy, Control X, to here on top, and say float node value, and now parent node, well, we don't need the input parent node. We want the parent node, yeah, dot outputs of index, the input dot connected output, and we have the value. Okay, and instead of using the node value, actually we need to remove this guy. We need to use the outputs, and because we are working inside the node, we know that we have only one output in this node, so we say outputs of index 0 dot value equals to that. So Control C and Control V and Control V. And when I'm showing it, this was one of the to-dos. It's just a properties view. It's just a vertical begin, two label fields, and then end the vertical. So we want that. And the float node, of course, doesn't have that. And we need to say the node value equals to 0. The output dot value equals to 0. And then here we say output value 0 equals to output value 0. Okay? And that was the last to do, to show you that, again, a vertical, a label field, a float field, and a vertical. So now everything should work. But you see that everything resetted to 0 because, of course, we changed the values on the nodes. So 10, and come on. Why are you 10? Oh, because all of them are the same, so delete. And that is the last thing we want, to make sure that when we are deleting something, we remove it from the asset, and I will show you. So float, make it 10, another float that is 0 now, okay, make it 20, so the result will become 30. Bam, 10, add 1, 30, add another float, make it 30, so the result of these two should be 60 and 60, okay? So we effectively moved the value of the output to the output class itself, because now, for example, let's make a test node, why not?